Hey guys, it's Erin here with Happily We Go, here to do a quick little carving video for you and a review. So I just started doing the Carve December that's put on by Julie Faye Fan Balzer, and here's a couple of the stamps that I've created so far. It's super easy, but I just wanted to show you how I did it. So I started off with this little wooden tool, and it fits in my hand. It's awesome. It just came with 2 tips, and you just push them in the end. Really super easy to use. But I just recently got this new kind of like updated version, and it's plastic. It's a little bit bigger, kind of heftier in the hand, and it stores all of the different tips in the back, which I thought was cool. So you've got a lot of different choices there. And let's see, I think I'm going to use this wider one and then this fine one. And then you just store the rest of them in the back and put the lid on. Whoops, okay, let me drop it. But I thought that's awesome because I lose everything, and this way everything could just go right in the back where I need it. So you untwist the top here, and then you're just going to slide in the tip that you want to use. There's a little ball in there, and it just fits right around that. And then you just twist it back up, and it's tight, and then the tip is on there nice and good. So really super easy to use. So this is the linoleum that I'm using. Oops, sorry. It's by Speedball as well. And it's a little bit thinner. If you don't have that, you could get like an eraser from the dollar store. This is just from the Dollar Tree. I've used it for something else, so I cut off the end of it. It's a little harder to carve through, but it totally works. So this is Wilson from Don't Starve. One of my twins has been obsessed with Don't Starve, and he keeps begging me to draw him a Wilson. So I thought, well, why don't I just carve a stamp of him? So I'm going to use this carbon paper here, and I'm going to put Wilson on the top. I just sketched him real fast, and then I'm going to draw over it with this pen. So I'll speed it up so you don't have to watch all of that. You guys, for real right now? Okay, this is truthfully the first time I've ever used carbon paper, and I don't know what, well, see, look, it's drawing down there. Maybe it's just, it wouldn't work on the linoleum. I'm not sure. So, okay, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to try and trace it over and see if that works. And it is actually. So it's kind of giving me a little trace. So I'll speed it up here real fast. And this is just the pencil that I'm using to push through. And you can see it kind of traced him out there. So now I'm going to go back through, oh my gosh, for the 3rd time, and draw him and do it in pen, so that way I can figure out where all of my lines are going to be. All right, so now that we have little Wilson here done, we need to decide what's going to be the negative and what's going to be the positive. So what parts are we going to cut out because we don't want that to be stamped, just the outlines of it, and what we want to be stamped, if that makes sense. So I decided I'm just going to go ahead and go around the whole outside of Wilson right now, because we know we want Wilson to stamp. And I'm going to cut down my linoleum base just a little bit more. You could cut it down more than this, but I like to have a little bit of extra space. And as you can see, I'm not twisting my hand. I'm twisting the actual stamp itself. That to me is much easier when you're going around circles and stuff, to twist it that way. And also, just do little bits, and then you can come back and cut more. Don't try and do too much all at one time. And when you're doing tiny little fine pieces, start it in one direction, flip the linoleum, and then go back from the opposite side. So I know this is super sped up a lot, but you'll get the gist of it if you just keep watching. So I'm going to throw on some music, and we'll just have a carve session. So I wanted to get a wider tip, and I wanted to also show you that the tips were interchangeable. So one of the ones that came in the red handled one will fit easily onto the wooden handled one. So if you have an older one and you just want to buy tips, you could probably do that too. I know I'm supposed to be reviewing the red plastic one, but I just really like the way the wooden one feels in my hand. It's a little bit smaller, and I have really big hands, so it fits just in between my thumb and my forefinger, and that is really comfortable. So now that we have the major base cut down, I want to do a little bit more fine detail work. So I'm going to change out the tip on this one. Of course, I was having a little bit of trouble there, but it really is pretty simple. And I'm going to put on the fine tip, twist it on there, and then we're going to go back inside. And I know that I want his entire face cut out. I just want to leave his eyes, his eyebrows, his nose, his mouth, you know, all of those little details, which are really, you got to be really careful and go very slowly when you're doing this. It looks like I'm going really fast, but I promise you this is like super sped up. But just go really slowly so that way you can cut it out and you don't end up cutting out, you know, any major detail there. So along with my carving tools, another trick I like to do is take an X-Acto blade. So when I know I want to have a straight cut, I'll use the X-Acto blade, cut it, and then just turn it sideways and slice down very gently. You don't want to go in too far, but just enough, and that'll give you a straight line. So if you take your fine tool, when you go in, like on his shirt, I'm just going to do one little pass gently, and that's going to give you a little bit of detail work in the positive of the stamp. And you'll see that once we stamp it. And you guys, I'm so sorry. It keeps going out of frame. I just was getting in the zone, and I kept forgetting to check to see if I was in frame. So I apologize about that. But I think you kind of get the idea of where we're going. It's just you see my big old hand in the way instead of the stamp. Super quick like, and to clarify, Carve December is on Instagram, so it's like hashtag Carve December. If you're interested in it at all, you should go check it out because there are some amazing stamps being created this month by some really talented people. So anyways, just gonna pop that in there, and now we'll get back to the carving. So I switched to the biggest carving tip, and now I'm just kind of flattening out the areas. You don't want anything to stick up. And then I'm going to cut it a little bit closer to Wilson, so that way there's less worry about misstamping or having like extra area stamped that I don't want to. And now I'm going to take the edges and I'm just going to trim them down a little bit more so we don't have to worry about any of the little linoleum pieces sticking up on the stamp. And while you totally do not need to have two different carving tools, carving handles, I'm really finding that I like having the two, so I can have two different tips and then I can swap out back and forth between the two. So if that is an option for you financially, you might want to go that route. Now, in hindsight, I probably should not have carved out poor Wilson's little legs because it looks like he's wearing a pair of shorts, as you will see shortly. But if I hadn't have pointed it out to you, you probably wouldn't have noticed anyways. But I did anyways. I told you. So now we're going to take some Versafine Onyx Black ink. I just like this stamp pad because it's the juiciest and I really don't have to push that hard. And see, he's all inked up there, and we're just going to push him down onto a piece of paper here. Oops, let me move that up a little bit. And so you can see there's a little bit of spaces like in his face. You can see the black spots. Anything that is black that you don't want to be stamped, you need to trim back out. So we're just going to zoom through here real fast and do some touch-ups on his face. Boy, I wish we could touch up our faces that fast. Do you know what I mean? All right, so we're going to stamp him up again here. Let me grab another piece of paper. Stamp him up. Put him down. And let's see how our image turns out this time. And oops, I didn't push so good right there. And you know what might actually work really good is a stamp tool. So here is my perfect stamp, or Stamp Perfect rather. It's super easy. It has the door on it, so if you misstamp, you can just fling it back over again. Granted, Wilson doesn't have any sticky back to him, so we're just going to swing it over. Let's get my T out of the way. And it actually might be a little easier putting the stamp down and then tapping your pad over top of it. So we're going to pop him down. Whoops. Swing over the door. And after I started stamping, I realized I forgot to take the foam insert out. So it just made it a little bit thicker, but that's okay. And there we go. So see, we have Wilson. There's still, oops, I don't know why I turned it upside down. There's still a couple spots down by his feet and a couple little areas. And I'm a perfectionist. I can't just let it go, people. I don't know why. So I'm going to grab my tool. I'll speed it up again real fast, and we'll just do that last little bit of touch-up work. So I really enjoyed doing the Carve December. It's something that's totally new to me. I think this is probably the 4th stamp that I've ever carved in my life. I just jump right into things, but I'm enjoying it. And I do have to say that this red handle tool, I really do like. It may not be new, but it's new to me, and it's definitely a purchase that I'm happy that I found. So we're going to finish up Wilson here. And there we go. We're going to grab the stamp tool, and remember to take the foam out this time. We'll get them all inked up here. Push a little bit. And there we have it, guys. Wilson. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe. Here's a little card that I created using Wilson. I thanks so much for watching, guys, and have an awesome day.